Hiya, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leather Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations. Welcome to the Weekly Pour podcast. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
That's us. I'm TBT. That guy over there is Ace. Welcome to episode 135 of the Weekly Pour podcast. Here we are. If you are listening to us live, we are on the Book of Face. We are on the Tubes of Views. Jump into the chat, say hi, all that fun stuff. We've got some people that are already jumping in there now. Mama TBT was in there first. She was there 20 minutes ago because she wanted to get a front row seat. Of course, let's see who else. Viper's in. Nat McFick is back finally because we've missed her for quite a few days. She's back, and who else? Oh, look, there's Mrs. TBT and producer, executive producer, director, moderator extraordinaire. Natalie is, of course, there. And do what she said. Hit that thumbs up. That helps get our little thing going. And yeah, hit the thumbs up. Hit the notify me, because that lets you know when we're going live, especially on a day like this. Happy Wednesday. A little strange. It's not Tuesday. My week is completely thrown off now because we're here on Wednesday. This is all your fault.
Mine? What? Wait, what is my fault?
Us being here on Wednesday.
Oh, well, I appreciate our flexibility.
Yeah.
I do.
There are what you call familiar reasons, obligations, if you will. And sometimes that's what we have to do. The Viper says he always thought the prerequisite for wearing a muscle shirt was that you had to have muscles.
Hey, every single time I wear one, he says that. He needs a new joke.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that he would just like call you Aceberg or something. You know, he sees tattoos, whatever. Hello, Kathy. Welcome in. We're glad you're here as well. Did I miss anybody else? No. If you're watching and you're not in the chat, just jump in and say hi. Even if you're famous, even if you think you're famous, or even if it doesn't matter, just sit in there and say hi. Even if we don't know who you are, just jump in there. We'd like to say hi. You don't have to say a whole lot. Kathy is trying to figure out why Ace hasn't hung up a beach ball yet.
It's here. It's right over here. I haven't got around to it yet.
So there's a story to this beach ball?
It's a souvenir from Sammy Hagar show. It's a like a limited edition souvenir they gave out at the shows. Is that right, Kathy? They gave it out at the shows.
Okay.
Something like that.
Well, you know, if you put it up, you're going to have to move your camera like way far back so that you can see it.
It's like says Sammy Hagar and the Wabaritas when he had the Wabarita band and some pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
It wasn't a souvenir. It was a promotional only item. So they're rare. Rare. Yes. Yeah. And Kathy gave it to me 2-3 weeks ago. And I have a lot of things going on. So
as the Viper says, you'll get it done. There's no need to remind you every 6 months.
Yeah. Well, he knows. He's married.
And he's also on a roll tonight.
You know, I like it when he misses a week.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't this week. Do you know what, though? The good thing is he'll miss next week.
And I don't need to find it. It's here.
Yeah, but do you really know where?
It's here somewhere. Where did it? It's here. I got it right here.
Is it in that room?
Don't worry.
It's there. It's there. Yeah. So it's been a week. We got a lot of news to get into. One of the biggest pieces of news came out the day after our podcast last week, which we did on Tuesday. Huge news came out on Wednesday. We posted about it on our social. Of course, we're going to dig into it here in a little bit after we get through our normal, beginning routine. But it's been quite a week of news. Of course, last Friday we got the release of the new Sleep Token album, which you and I have been going back and forth pretty much since last Friday. A lot of stuff to get into about that. It's just been it's a whirlwind basically. And then of course you and I we come across some news today, actually, that that you were listening to just a few minutes ago. That it took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that, but we'll get into all of it. If you've read the description for the episode, you pretty much know what all we're going to be talking about. Plus, we'll throw in a little bit more. Other than that, how was your week?
My week's been fine. Last week or this week?
Well, between last time and today.
Oh, it's been great.
Good.
For the most part, the weather has held out. It makes my job easier when we have nice weather, and it's been good. Been real good. Busy, but good.
Yeah, no storms. Knock on wood. I guess there were some yesterday that hit somewhere around here, not where I was at. And then so
it rained intermittently. Like yesterday, we were driving to Bloomington.
Yeah.
And it would sprinkle, then it wouldn't, then it would rain hard, and then it would go away, and you're just driving in and out of rain all the way to Bloomington. Kind of silly, really. Yeah, just silly.
It's pretty much that's how it was even here at the house. Anyway, if you're in the chat, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube, make sure if you have a question you ask it. I'm going to jump right into our first story, and we're going to kick it off, I guess, with a little bit of somberness, especially if you don't know what's going on. Again, like I said, we posted this on our social last, I want to say it was Wednesday when we finally got it up there. Shocking, unexpected. I'm sure there were other people that knew. But to get right into this, Three Doors Down singer Brad Arnold has revealed that he is battling clear cell renal cell carcinoma, or they call it CCRCC, which is a type of kidney cancer. Last Wednesday, Brad released a video message on his social media, and it was transcribed by our friends over at Blabbermouth. And I'm gonna read part of this. It was a long statement. He goes, "Hey everybody, it's Brad from Three Doors Down. I hope you're having a great day today. I've got some not so good news for you today. So I'd been sick a couple of weeks ago and then went out to the hospital to get checked out and had actually got the diagnosis that I had clear cell renal carcinoma that had metastasized into his lung. And it's stage 4, and that's not real good." Brad continues to say that he has no fear because of his faith. He says, "I really sincerely am not scared of it at all, but it's going to force us to cancel our tour this summer. And of course, we're sorry for that. And I'd love for you to lift me up in prayer every chance you get. And I think it's time for me to maybe go listen to Three Doors Down's 2008 song, It's Not My Time, a little bit." He continues and ends his statement with, "Thank you guys so much. God loves you. We love you. See you." Huge news. We seen Three Doors Down last year with Creed, and you would never, not to say that there'd be any necessarily indications, but you couldn't tell by their performance, by everything that they did, nothing. The unfortunate part is that they did have to cancel the tour, but what a shock. I know it hit the music world, and I'm pretty sure there wasn't a whole lot that were aware, that this was coming down because of the amount of people that were jumping on their own social medias and just throwing out well wishes and all that stuff to Brad. Unbelievable news. Of course, we wish them, the best of luck. It's just crazy. And I know Mama TBT is on here, and I'm not too old for her to kick my ass if need be, but it's very rare that I do something like this, but I'm just going to go ahead and just say, fuck cancer. I just want to get that out there. That's huge news, and it just irritates the ever loving crap out of me that we're still having to deal with something like this in 2025.
In 2025, right? We've had cancer funds and research and so many things for so many years. We've known so many things about cancer, and we treat it, but people still die at massive rates from it.
Right.
This is interesting because I think, if I'm reading this correctly, there's two types of this type of cancer that he has. One, if you have small tumors, and one, if you have big tumors. And if you have smaller tumors that are like the size of little bubbles, you have a 50 to 69% survival rate.
Right.
Which is not terrible. The other one is a 5-year survival rate, about 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he could survive this for at least a little while, it sounds like.
Absolutely. And for all we know, the treatment that he gets, he could fight this for a number of years, healthily, because there's quite a few people out there that have not just this, but other types that continue to live their life every single day, and all that, they have to watch what they eat, watch what they drink, all that fun stuff. But
Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard being someone like that,
right? With certain treatments and certain changes to your own lifestyle. We hope that this is something that he's able to accomplish, and kind of stick around. But yeah, huge news from a three doors down camp.
Well, the support he was getting was huge too. I mean, huge support from the rock world and from other places, fans, whatever. He was getting a lot of support. I was impressed with that.
Absolutely. Mama TBT just threw in there and says that his faith helps more than you realize. And that's absolutely true. He's when we seen him in concert, he was throwing out a lot of faith-based dialogue, excuse me, that I don't remember from, seeing them previous times. And that's his thing. He's putting all of his faith in his spirituality, and he's I think he's absolutely genuine when he says he's not worried about it. He's not scared of it. Whatever happens. And really, that's a good way.
46.
Yeah. And it's a good way to look at it, because why worry about what you can't control?
Right. You do what the doctors tell you and follow the program. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. But he's only 46.
Yep.
I mean, not that I thought he was old, but it's so young to develop this sort of cancer. That hits you hard. When you think about that.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, any one of us could get something.
Oh yeah. Well, realistically, I mean, we could all have something right now. Who knows? It's not like you go every single day or every single month to the doctor. So you never know. But
right.
Of course, with Brad, we wish him nothing but the best, and we'll keep tabs on this story as it progresses, hopefully over numerous years. I hope that he outlives this podcast. We'll put it that way.
Certainly.
We'll move on to more chipper news, I guess. Where do you even want to start?
Chipper.
I could talk about what we listened to right before this started. I mean, that's not really that much chipper.
There was actually no Skid Row news to announce, Digital Viper.
Oh,
they are
Viper.
looking for a lead singer.
Yeah.
Skid Row is searching far and wide for a singer. That's the news.
That is the news of that. Although I will say that this is very close to Skid Row, because this is a lead singer who doesn't have a band anymore. Former Journey singer Steve Perry has released a cover of Journey's powerful ballad. Let me try saying that twice. Faithfully, featuring a guest appearance by none other than legendary country performer Willie Nelson. Yes,
he sounds great on this.
Willie sounds great. Yes, so Steve Perry and Willie Nelson have released a cover version of Faithfully that was recorded in Nashville at Steve Perry's studio called The Love Box. The track was made available via Dark Horse Records, produced by some people, had some other people playing it. The key to this is that all proceeds from the new version of Faithfully will go to the nonprofit Farm Aid organization that was founded 40 years ago by Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, and Neil Young. This is in response to the growing crisis faced by American family farmers during the 1980s.
Farm Aid's been around a long time.
Yes, it has. But 40 years.
Man.
Yeah. Huh.
They still do the shows. They still do the concerts. You don't hear about it so much, but I guess it still attracts a crowd. Is Mellencamp still involved in this? John Mellencamp?
I don't know.
That was his thing for a long, long time.
Yeah. Farm Aid 40, which is going to be in Minnesota for the first time in its 40th anniversary, is Saturday, September 20th at Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The event will launch a year-long celebration of 4 decades of impactful advocacy, historical cultural moments, and unforgettable music. Farm Aid 40 will feature performances by Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Mellencamp, Dave Matthews, Margot Price, as well as Billy Strings, and a bunch of other people that I've never heard of.
Trampled by Turtles.
How did I miss that? Yes. Ratliff and the Night Sweats. Try the one that starts with a W.
That's a Waxahachie Eric Burton of the Black Pumas.
No, that's two different things. You missed the comma there.
That's Waxahachie.
Comma and Eric Burton of Black Pumas.
Whatever, it's Waxahachie.
Yeah, Waxahachie.
All caps.
All caps. If you want to listen to the new version of Faithfully, featuring Steve Perry and Willie Nelson, go to YouTube and type in Steve Perry and Willie Nelson, Faithfully. Not right now. Wait till this is over, and then go check it out. It's there. It's good for you to listen to.
I find interesting about these ones that are done for charity. All proceeds from this will go to Farm Aid, kind of thing. Like, how do you even know? How do you engage what you're making from this? You know, how do you gauge? I guess any. It's the same as any streaming service would pay you, I guess. But
I'm going to say your gate, merch, all that fun stuff. You know, almost like all the normal stuff that you would pay attention to at, like, you know, any other festival, Lollapalooza, Moscow Music Peace Festival, you know, stuff like that. Other than the 1.25 million people that are there watching. But I mean, back in the day, Farm Aid used to be like the thing, because it was huge.
Well, I'm thinking about the single itself. How do you gauge what you're going to be able to contribute, especially from something so, well, I guess because it's so eclectic. You got Steve Perry and Willie Nelson, and you're not expecting, this duet out of these guys, I guess. Oh, stop. Are you looking at this?
I did. It was literally on the screen for like 7 seconds.
But yeah, I guess that would pique your interest enough to go check it out. It piqued our interest. We checked it out.
Well, I think what piqued our interest was the fact that it was Willie Nelson and Steve Perry.
That's what I'm saying. It's such an eclectic duet. So I guess they hope that you get enough YouTube plays or downloads or streams that you can donate some cash to it. I guess. I just don't know what that would be.
Yeah. Nat McF says, go Willie. And I agree. Go Willie. Sounds great for 98, 99, somewhere around there. I know I'm not far off. But yeah, he sounds good. I highly recommend everybody go listen to it. Make your own opinion, your own judgment, all that fun stuff. But at least check it out. Because I'm sure every hit is going to count on some kind of YouTube account. So check it out. It's kind of like listening to our stuff. You always need to check it out.
I'd like to know what Viper means by I couldn't believe Willie Nelson made You Were Always on My Mind to sound good. He sounds great on that song. Did someone make it sound bad? Or is he just saying something about Willie? I like Willie. I like Willie Nelson.
Oh, 92. Okay.
Is he really? Oh, my Lord.
I honestly thought he was 98, 99. I really did.
Elvis Presley covered this too. You Were Always on My Mind. Did a great version. Great version.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But please go check it out. I'm very curious to know people's opinion.
He was assuming that it would be bad because Willie may not be. Some people would say Willie can't sing. So he was assuming it was going to be bad. Surprised that it wasn't. No, it's a great song.
Yeah.
Very poignant.
You could almost put this in the whole Johnny Cash thing. Johnny Cash got old and he still put out an album.
Yes.
Didn't do a whole lot of singing, but it was the way it was his ability or his way of singing at the time. Was it the best he's ever done? No, of course not.
It's pretty cool.
But it was still cool. I can listen to that. I want to call it the Black Album. I could listen to that whole thing over and over and over. Just because it's so good and it's just him.
Yeah.
Hurt was an amazing song.
Well, that was the bit of resurgence in the interest of Johnny Cash.
Yes.
When that came out. Because all of a sudden now you're hearing people talk about influences like Johnny Cash or being influenced by Johnny Cash.
Right.
After that came out, and you weren't hearing that beforehand, and now people weren't afraid, I guess, to say it, or they were jumping on the bandwagon, either one. But all of a sudden, I can remember even just talking to anyone I would meet. Oh, I love Johnny Cash. Oh, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
But then you would hear the rock guys come out and talk about it and being influenced by Johnny Cash. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mama TBT says Willie has a very unique voice. 100%. There's no song that you can listen to that doesn't have Willie in it that you're not like, oh, that's Willie Nelson. Even Mrs. TBT, I started playing it. She walked by and she's like, Willie. I was like, yeah, it's Willie. My favorite song off of that album is When the Man Comes Around. It's just such a just a badass song.
Becky Lynch or
no, yeah, it was the Becky Lynch theme song wrote by Johnny Cash. 100%.
That'd be great.
So speaking of old timers,
now wait.
Uh-oh.
Natalie chimed in. His unique voice is what boosted his career. That's not true. It's not true at all. What boosted his career was moving away from the Nashville sound in the 70s and adopting his own sound, which became outlaw country.
Right.
And it fit his style, it fit his fashion sense, and it fit his voice. Because before that, he was wearing suits, and singing and writing songs for other people. All those guys, look, you may not dig into this too much, but look at all those guys: Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. They were all wearing suits and singing country songs back in the day that had the strings. You remember the strings? Everything had orchestration. Yeah, that was the Nashville sound, which I thought was always weird that you would put that to country music or say it's country.
Yeah.
But yeah, what made Willie different was outlaw country, Whiskey River. That's what did it. And then Waylon followed that, and Hank Jr. A lot of people.
Yeah.
But now that I've corrected her,
which obviously is what she meant. That's what she said. That's what she meant. Viper makes a very good point. What boosted his life was weed. Yeah.
yeah,
He was true to himself, like Mama TBT just said. He was absolutely. He didn't fall into the bandwagon of everybody else. He wasn't worried about what would sell billions and millions. He was just Willie.
He became synonymous with that voice and weed.
Yeah,
that's what he became synonymous with.
And it's funny because him and Snoop sound a lot alike.
They might look alike.
Whatever. I was close. Whichever. New tour announcement here recently. This came out today. For the first time ever, Guitar Crate's John 5 and Richie Kotzen will head out on the road together this year. The tour will launch October 16th and run through November, hitting major markets across the U.S. That's going to be an interesting gig.
Yeah, that would be. I am not as familiar with what John 5 does solo. I know exactly what Richie Kotzen does solo, and it's great. I'm a big Richie Kotzen fan.
I would highly suggest you go in and find a bunch of John 5 stuff.
Yeah, I know he's amazing as a guitar player. Of course, he's with Motley Crue. He was with Rob Zombie. I know that. As far as solo stuff, I'm not as familiar at all.
Yeah, October 10th, John 5 will be dropping his anticipated new album called Ghost. And it's going to be led by a new track called Fiend, F-I-E-N-D, Fiend, which features Kenny Aronoff. So that's kind of cool.
The guy's everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everywhere.
Yeah. On Friday, this Friday, as in 2 days from today, you can see the music video for Fiend. Before then, see the teaser video, which, I haven't watched it. But I can't get the single until October's the album. I'll listen to it Friday.
Right.
16th of October is when it kicks off in California, and it ends in California on the 29th of November, hitting all kinds of states: Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, Virginia, New York, just all over the place. So that might be a good tour worth checking out.
Fort Wayne here.
Yep. So last week we talked about Sammy Hagar. I'm sorry. Well, we did talk about Sammy, but we also talked about David Lee Roth and the fact that David Lee Roth finally hit the stage singing just a plethora of Van Halen tunes and some of his other stuff.
Let me comment real quick.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't give that performance justice last week when we were talking.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what tangent I went off on, but after you and I talked about it on the show, I heard even more about how fantastic Roth was in this one performance. That he did it right, that he blew everyone away, and he's playing just that old school Van Halen everyone wants, and did not play any solo Roth stuff, nothing.
Right.
Which is surprising. So I just wanted to get that out there, that apparently like Roth nailed it. And hopefully he'll do that the whole tour, I hope.
He did a 75-minute set, which consisted of classics by Van Halen, of course, in which he was accompanied by his band, which was a guitarist and 4 backing vocalists, and whoever else was. But anyway, back to this. Sammy Hagar, everybody wants to know what Sammy's opinion is, because Sammy's been out there. He's the one out there, singing all the Van Halen stuff, putting all the Van Halen stuff out on tour, doing the residency in Vegas to continue all this, Van Hagar and Van Halen stuff. And everybody's like, oh, what do you think? What do you think? Because people they're waiting for dirt. They're waiting for something to just come out and him just say, screw Dave, and he could have done this with us years ago, blah, blah, blah. It's not what happened. Sammy Hagar comes out and says, I'm happy that Dave is out there doing it like me and Mikey, talking about
good
Michael Anthony. Yeah. He says that Dave, being out doing the tour, is supporting some of the greatest rock songs in history. The fans deserve it, good or bad. I believe we're both doing our best, and I'm actually happy. Dave is supporting his era, and I will support my era as well as the solo career. Everyone should enjoy what we're both trying to do, keeping the music alive, and his legacy is important, and so is the music both Dave and I, meaning Sammy, wrote with Eddie, of course, Eddie Van Halen. So everybody that was waiting for Dirt, you ain't getting it.
No, I don't know that Sammy has ever, not that he's never not thrown some dirt Dave's way. I'm not saying that. But he has never disparaged keeping that music alive. The old Van Halen, that's not Sammy's era, and he does play 2 or 3 older Van Halen. I say older, but Roth tracks. But he never disparages that, and I don't know why anyone would think he would rip on Dave for going out here and doing something at all. The one I would expect the dirt from is Dave. Maybe
You're
that's
absolutely
what I
correct.
would say. Yeah, that would be the trash talker. And it comes up all the time that people want them to either tour together or be on stage together. And I don't know why they think that will ever happen again. It wasn't good the first time because, all the issues on tour. And they're just not going to do that. There's no point. What would be the point in having a Dave and Sam tour again? Go see Sammy at the residency, enjoy it, and then track down Roth wherever he's going to be at. Apparently, it's going to be good, and go see Dave and be happy with that.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do either one of those, you can join Ace at Deer Creek when he goes to see Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah. Well, that's what Viper said.
Why would I see Cyndi Lauper?
He's on a tangent.
I mean, is he opposed to seeing Cyndi Lauper? What's he saying?
Truth be told, I would totally go to that.
I mean, it couldn't be that bad.
No. I mean, come on, girls just want to have fun.
Right. She's got like a handful of songs I would know.
Yeah. We Are the World. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them.
And a lot of girls will be there, I think. They'll all be my age at least.
Yeah. Anyway, for those that are waiting for the 2026 40th anniversary Poison tour for Look What the Cat Dragged In, we might be getting some more news on that very, very soon. According to, again, our friends at Blabbermouth, Ricky Rocket was recently on Eddie Trunk, which is on Sirius XM's Trunk Nation with Eddie Trunk, where Ricky Rocket spoke about the band's plans to return to the road in 2026 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of their debut album for Poison, Look What the Cat Dragged In. According to Ricky Rocket, he says, we are still planning on going out next year. This is the part that I like. We got a great offer. And to be honest with you, it's in Bret's lap right now. So we're good to go. And hopefully we can make a deal and do it. I think it would be a shame not to do it because this is our 40th anniversary. All original members were not getting any younger. We can tear it up. We've still got it. Let's do it. That's how I feel about it. And of course, that was Ricky Rocket. He did go on to say that the offer that he and the rest of Poison have received was for a headlining tour, which is great. And that everybody else has agreed to it. Bret, Bobby, I'm sorry, let me backtrack. Bobby, CC, and Ricky, basically just leaving it up to Bret. So we'll see.
Right, but
why would he not do that?
I don't know. It's always up to Bret to decide these things, whether he wants to or not. And that's why we don't see Poison out. And it sounds like Ricky really is pushing hard for this one. It's the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
There's no reason to not do it. Can you imagine if Bret says, nah, I got another Margaritaville, Taj Mahal, tour to do, and well, I'm doing that, and I got a country album coming out, and can you imagine? There's no way he doesn't do this. There's no way.
No, I would,
and the money has got to be. I bet the money's great.
Yeah, I would be absolutely shocked if he doesn't agree to it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way, but I would just hate to have the idea of whether I tour or not, or do anything this year, predicated on the whims of Bret Michaels. That, I don't know. I hope he says yes. I would go see it. We've talked about it at length before, you and I have.
Yep.
How great it would be, and who could open, and all this stuff. It would be great.
Yeah.
What, a year ago we saw Sammy. That was one of the bigger tours of the summer. This would be a huge tour. Huge.
Oh, yeah. I venture to almost say, depending on who the opening acts are, it could be bigger than the Hagar tour.
Right.
And Viper, once we find out where it's going to be and all that, we'll totally all go together. We'll make it a Weekly Pour podcast concert night. Sure.
You need a better slogan.
Yeah, I'm going to come up with something. Because
Okay.
concert night just really, I don't know. Or how about designated driver Natalie drives the guys insane on tour? I'll work on it.
Here's some good stuff too. Ricky talks about using tracks in the show, but they are not doing that. They are doing it the right way. They're going to have a keyboard player out there with them, and they're going to have backing vocalists on stage, much like what Dave did. And they'll have another guy filling out the sound. Backing vocalist Will Doughty, and he'll fill out the sound, and they'll do it the right way. There's no shame in adding pieces to your stage set. There's no shame in that. Hell, if Ricky needs another drummer to help him, get shit done, do it. Who cares?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to skip this story. I might not get to that one. We're going to get to that one towards the end because I think there's a lot, and I think we'll get a lot of talk from the chat too. I want to go with this one. If you were in Virginia over the past week, you may have experienced an earthquake on Wednesday night, May 8th, as Metallica played Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. The stadium doubles as the home of the Virginia Tech Hokies, who famously adopted Enter Sandman as their opening song, their theme song. That's become one of the most saluted musical traditions in college sports, college football. Fans at games have frequently set off seismographs over the years by jumping in unison to the opening drumming of Enter Sandman as the team takes the field. Well, Metallica played the stadium. They normally open with a montage at the beginning of the show, but if you haven't watched the video, you got to find it and watch it. That goes dark. Like, it looks like there's a glitch. They lost power. And then all of a sudden, Enter Sandman comes on. Just the intro, and the crowd goes wild, and then they break into another song. So they don't play Enter Sandman. The crowd's just eating this up. They go through the show. They go. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they go to end the show. Lights are on. And it's like, oh, yeah, maybe we got one more thing to do. And they play Enter Sandman. And everybody is jumping in unison. And long story short, it set off the seismographs around the area. It doesn't say, but these were weather alerts, all kinds of stuff saying earthquake. No, Virginia Tech's Metallica concert in Blacksburg, Virginia, is being detected on seismographs tonight as the audience enjoys the show. I have not seen where it fell on the Richter scale, but man, that is just insane. If you have not seen this video, you have got to watch it because it is just, it's crazy.
This is not the first time this has happened to them, is it?
No,
they've done this. This has happened before with Metallica. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You imagine the scene if you're there and you're in the audience, and you don't realize what is going on, but you probably realize that it's very loud.
Yeah.
Very loud. And it probably doesn't shock you when you find out later that you basically registered an earthquake. It probably
Who
didn't
gets to
surprise you a
say
bit.
that other than, Typhoon and Earthquake, who were just recently inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? Who else gets to say that they put on a show and it registered on a seismograph? Maybe others, I don't know, but it doesn't make news like Metallica's did.
No, and you know what? And it doesn't matter if it was a 7, a 2, a 5. It doesn't matter. It just registered. That's the point.
Yeah.
Just the idea that it happened.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. That was something that was just had to bring up. In the video makes it just that much better because there's different parts of it. You can see the beginning when they cut things off and you're like, oh, power failure, like I was talking about a while ago. And then you watch other ones where they're actually playing a song. And it's Metallica. They've been on tour now for 10 years.
Forever.
Non-freaking stop. And good grief. It just seems to get better and better.
Longest farewell tour ever.
It's not a farewell tour. It's going to end up being a farewell tour if they keep going the rate they're going. I got to look at the time. All right. You know what? Well, let's dig into the last thing. This may take 20 minutes to really dive into. Unless you've been living under a rock or you do not listen or you didn't listen to us last week talking about it, Friday, Sleep Token finally released the entire album, even in Arcadia, and fans have just went berserk, myself included, over this almost an hour long adventure into the mind of Vessel. 10 tracks, correct?
Something like that. 57 minutes, I believe, is what it comes in at.
Yeah, just under an hour. This is no kidding. I have listened to this at least 15, probably 20 times already since its release last Friday.
I am surprised that you would listen to it that much.
I did the same thing with their previous one, but this album has got so much going on because I fell into the hype. The hype for this album coming out, with the 3 singles that we got released in March, April, 2 of them in April, with those coming out, and then listening to the last album, I fell into the hype. There was a social media barrage by their marketing company between using the infamous weatherman on TikTok, who they said, hey, you want to help us, launch some things, to having 2 different houses and coordinates you had to follow. I mean, it was almost like watching Bray Wyatt stuff come across the screen, or and you've got to figure out where are these coordinates taking me, and was that a word I just saw? Absolutely insane. The marketing was genius. They dropped the album, and now speculation, scuttlebutt, rumor is that this album itself is holding a crap ton of more Easter eggs, more mystery, and that we may not be done with this whole even an Arcadia thing.
Okay.
If you've listened to the album, and I'm not even paying attention to the chat whatsoever, and apparently nobody has in the chat, you're missing out. This is something that you and I have discussed at length really well. It is not, nor has it ever meant to be, metal. There are components that are very metal, very rock, but it's very Sleep Token, of course.
I got pulled into the idea of it being a metal band, and I guess because I would read that, but then I texted you. I sent you a song. It was a Damocles or one of them, and I said this is a pop song.
Yeah,
and you agreed.
Yeah,
like I expected a fight, but no, you weren't fighting me. You're like, no, it could be.
Yep.
Because they have elements of everything in what they do, and I don't know why. I wonder if that helps make them so popular because there's pop elements, there's blues elements, there's rock, there's all these things going on. There's barely a guitar string picked in this. It's a lot of lush piano and keyboards and sweeping walls of sound, and lyrically, there's some cool stuff going on as well. I don't know about all the Easter egg stuff at all. I don't know where these coordinates even took us. Did you go that far?
Oh, absolutely.
Where did it take us?
So it took you to an 18th century monument in Staffordshire, England, and that it was this monument was on the grounds of, like, I don't remember what it was called, but it was there's a painting that was involved called the Shepherds of Arcadia, and underneath it there was an inscription. I mean, I could go down this rabbit hole for an hour and just talk about the whole thing, but they would if you put in this inscription into their website, you had to decipher things, and if you put it in correctly, you were greeted with like a black flamingo with you having to put in your email address. It's Sleep Token. You're going to put your email address in because you know this is about an upcoming album or something. You put in your email address, and then you will get an email back that says with gratitude, or actually you get with gratitude on the screen. And then from there you get an email that was titled Behold a Divide. Okay. And you had two options. You had to either click House Viridian. It's almost like we were, talking Game of Thrones stuff here. It was House Viridian or Feathered Host. Just whatever you wanted to click. They each had their own distinct logo, color scheme, all of that. So if you followed the link, it would go to their merchandise website. Of course, it's marketing. Let's try to sell some stuff. But then you would get a second email that would basically put you in the house that you picked, whichever one you followed. A little bit later, I think it may have been like a month later or a few weeks or something like that, you would end up getting another email that would take you to Instagram accounts for either House Viridian or Feathered Host, depending on which one it was. So you got this marketing thing. This is outdone, in my opinion, anything Taylor Swift did, with all her Easter eggs and putting out things about albums and blah, blah, blah. So when you went to these houses, you would get bits of sheet music. So there's people all over the internet trying to decipher all of this sheet music. I have to read something here just so I don't get it wrong. It was later discovered that the House Viridian version of the sheet music had the Latin words, I can't read those, which translate to 72nd, and each word was placed on the 3rd and 13th measure of the sheet music. This led fans following these clues to believe something would happen on the 72nd day of the year, which also equates to the date 13/3 or 13 March, which would also coincide with the blood moon lunar eclipse. So
that was the real day of the election.
So we skip forward and remember, I just said 3/13, so we're talking March 13th.
Okay.
So on March 13th, Sleep Token finally announced their 4th album, entitled Even in Arcadia, which was going to come out May 9th, just this past Friday. They also released their first single, which was Emergence, and confirmed a tour of the United States, brand new merchandise, just all kinds of stuff. It was the 9th of April, May. Album's been released. There's something I told you earlier. The 10th track, called Infinite Baths, which is an 8-minute monster. If you listen to the song and you listen to the end of the song, it identically matches in threes. Viper will know what I'm talking about. To the first track, which is Look to Windward, because it also begins in threes. So what you have here, which I'm not going to dig down this too much because, again, we only have so much time. What you have is a loop. This is a never-ending loop of an album. You could have very easily put the 10th track as the number 1 track, but why do that when you're trying to make an infinite loop?
Right.
So therefore, at the end of track 10 should immediately track it back to the beginning of track 1. There's more going on. I don't. It could be a double album. There's a story behind everything that Sleep Token does between the last album and this album, and you watch their videos. It's iconic. It is mastermind marketing. It's so hard. It's crazy.
Well, I'm just thinking, who have they hired to do this marketing? And I guarantee whoever they have hired, Vessel 1 and Vessel 2 are very hands-on. And you couldn't just say, we want these things, go do it. You know, you would have to be very hands-on with this marketing. But I also find it that if I do all the work that they want me to do, would I be irritated only to find out, I got the date of the album?
Oh, no, because I skipped over a lot. There's a lot more that went on in regards to that. Let's see. Second, so when I talked about them, 13th of March, and you getting all that, you also found out about the tour that's happening. So February 26th is when all this stuff came out about 313 and all that. It was a week, maybe 2 weeks later. They teased new material via their official Instagram page, as well as the 2 house Instagram accounts. So now you've got 3 accounts basically for Sleep Token. And each account shared a Morse code snippet that you had to try to translate. But that gave the coordinates to the Griffin Observatory in Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles, yeah.
Yeah, fans who followed and visited this location found a QR code with a logo to each house.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean followed? They flew to Los Angeles?
Found. When you
found.
Yeah, when you would go to this, you would find this QR code that scanned. When you scanned them, it would be the words blood and moon, with the assets for each showing a number, which then entered as a cipher, revealed the word emergence, which became their first single. It's been nonstop. And again, as I was just saying about the infinite loop of this album, there's all kinds of conspiracy things like, this is going to end up being a double album, and the meanings behind it. The lyrics are phenomenal. The lyrics are I said this months ago. I may have said this a year ago when I really first started getting into Sleep Token. This is our generation's, or this generation's, Pink Floyd.
It is.
Pink Floyd, I would never have categorized them as metal. However, they had their moments where they were just, rock hard stuff.
And great guitar work.
Yeah. So, it's an interesting journey. I think it's going to continue. It's only going to get worse or better, depending on the way you look at it.
So you're telling me that being a Sleep Token fan is a full-time job?
Yeah, if I
What
wasn't
sounds
trying to finish that, absolutely. I mean, it could be, absolutely. But, I mean, being a fan of Taylor Swift could have been a full-time job back when all her stuff was coming out. But the hype and right now, what do people do? They listen to podcasts. What do they listen to? They listen to us or they listen to crime. So if you're listening to find out what happens with Sleep Token and you're paying attention to all these clues, people love conspiracy theories. They love, jumping down the rabbit hole. And that is what they're doing. They're pushing you for this. Wait till the newest band comes out here. I don't remember when. I'll have to look and see. Pay attention to stuff from President. Just going to leave that there.
That's rife with the potential for conspiracy theory.
Right.
I mean, just a whole album about what, Kennedy? You
No.
could do a whole album.
No, this is a band by the name President.
Right.
I will send you a video on that once we're done with this episode. I'll send it to you and just let you be like, what? Because there's rumor, scuttlebutt, whatever you want to call it, that somehow it's involved with Sleep Token.
Huh.
Yeah.
They don't have enough to do. Well,
true.
These bands that are coming out with this type of music, we talked about Ghost and all the gimmicks they do, were not just theatrically based. And then we had Inside the Trojan Horse on No One, Nobody, Nothing.
Yes.
It's in line with that type of thing. And that band has a strong social media presence as well, doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Daily.
Daily. And it seems that it's a great way to get your name out there, get attention for your band. I don't know if it's all about music when you're in a band like this. It's all about other things too.
Yeah.
It's music. It's the story. It's the things we're trying to say in a confines of a musical space. But we have social media. We have all these other things we can use.
Yeah.
It's bigger than just hitting 3 chords.
Oh, totally. Yeah. If you're not into the whole metal thing, number one, you need to move on to a different podcast. But if you're not into the metal thing, you're not into the hard rock thing, do yourself a favor. Check out Sleep Token. Just listen to it. Are you going to get surprised by some drops and some, crazy metal sounding stuff? 100%.
The drums.
Oh, the drums are phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I will say that.
Yeah.
And the vocal. I love the vocal.
Yeah. Vocals are amazing. The drum, as a matter of fact, the drummer has been on Drumeo. So you can look up Sleep Token Drumeo on YouTube, find that. You're not going to hear Homeboy's voice because that's part of the mystique, kind of like what we had with Inside the Trojan Horse. You've got the mystique of pay attention to the music. Don't pay attention to me, the person. But that's part of it. Watch some of the videos. It's you'll get down a rabbit hole that you will be like, kind of like what Viper said. He feels like he's on LSD listening to this or something like this. It's no different than when I heard Pink Floyd for the first time and listened to Dark Side of the Moon. And I was like, what is going on? So, yeah. So that was a crazy episode. As a reminder, Ace and I will not be here next week. You get a break from us. We're both going to the North Pole. We're going to try some ice fishing. But we should, as long as everything goes correctly, be back after next week. And again, it will also be on Wednesday. We're probably going to stay on Wednesdays through the month of June. just to accommodate some summer stuff that's going on. But yeah, keep listening. Pay attention to good music. We'll let you guys know if anything breaks in the news through social media, whatever. So we will be back in 2 weeks. We hope to enjoy our ice fishing expedition. And yeah,
well, we'll give you a full report when we get back.
Yes. Until then, stay rocking and all that fun stuff. Ah!